How is everybody doing tonight? On Twitter. Okay. Sorry, I was reading a notification. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to another episode of Boys in the Zone. Disclaimer really quickly. I have been dealing with I don't know if it's a sickness or something else, not really entirely sure. However, I have been trying to figure it out with my doctor and going there, but I've been having some weird numbness, or I wouldn't even call it numbness. It just feels like I ate like a lot of sour candy or something is the best way I can describe it with my tongue. I don't really know what's happening. Got a lot of blood tests done and it all came back clean. So who knows? It could be a symptom of COVID. But, anyways, the disclaimer is if I sound like I'm slurring my speech or sound stupid, um, just completely don't take that to heart because it's something I'm dealing with my tongue. So hopefully I sound normal. If not, that's the reason why. Anyways, training camp. Um, it has officially arrived, and we are at the padded practice portion of training camp that started today. Quick news on Trayvon Diggs as well. He is off of PUP list, which is a great thing for the Cowboys. Obviously, he probably isn't going to play any of the preseason games, but just having Trayvon back out there with the guys and, kind of seeing the flow of the game again and especially just working with Mike Zimmer is definitely a big thing and something I would be inclined to say is important for this young cornerback group. I mean, your presumably veteran corner is Jordan Lewis, which Mike Zimmer seems to love. But after that, it's really Diggs and Bland. Obviously, of course, he was all pro last year, made it. I think he was top 30, or no, not top 30, but he was in the 30 range on the NFL top 100. So Deron Bland is obviously no slouch, but still at that point, you want your veteran guy out there. Trayvon Diggs back out there with his guys is a good thing, and had to mention that. Second thing I want to talk about, which is not really training camp related, I guess, is the Dak Prescott contract and kind of some of his comments these past few days about him realizing that sometimes quarterbacks don't stick with their team throughout their entire career. So 31 on the top 100. Thank you, Lord Dilly. That is very telling, in my opinion, just based on the simple fact of Dak usually gives the typical trained quarterback answer to specific questions. And with him not doing that, I think that he's kind of come to the realization of this could not be where I end my career at. And that's kind of a scary thing to hear as a fan of not only Dak Prescott, but the Cowboys, because, you know, I know a lot of people don't remember this as fondly as, of course, with the Tony Romo years was great. Didn't get us the Super Bowl, but beside the point. Before that, it was it was horrible quarterback play all the way back until you had Troy Aikman still. So I don't want to go through that again. I think that right now it's borderline malpractice with how the Cowboys are, um, you know, dealing with this situation with Dak's contract. Just pay the guy. We have seen so many different quarterbacks get paid this last week. Jordan Love, Tua. It's crazy that Dak has not been paid, in my opinion. Because if you want to let him go, at least get something for him. Do not continue to play this out. And it's with more than just Dak. Ceedee should have been paid long ago. I think they made a poor decision on restructuring the Gallup contract, and that hurt them, allowing them to get ahead of the CD contract. But those are the things that aren't really related to today's practice. Let's jump into the actual things that are. about today's practice, which I don't like that view. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Oh, I don't need to get that. Sorry. Go to my bookmarks. Obviously, I do want to talk about Ricky, who he's gained kind of a pretty cult following with some of his takes, and he drops news and nuggets. Seems like a regular, just a fan, but he has been right on a lot of things in the past. He did say Cowboys are closing in on a 4-year extension with wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, worth about 136, 138 million. I wanted to bring that up because this was a dropped yesterday. It seems like the Cowboys insiders, Jane Slater, Watkins, they checked in on this and they didn't hear that it was moving in the right direction as of now. So I don't know if this is a for sure done deal or not. I am expecting CD to be at training camp sometime this week, but it's Wednesday tomorrow, and the contract is still looming. So we will see with that. Of course, you want to pay your guy. He is a big, big part of what you do as a team, as an offense. And it's incredibly important to have that number one guy, especially with the lack of weapons you truly have on the offense currently. Of course, you do have Ferguson, you do have Cooks, and I think Cooks is going to be better this year. Tolbert has looked pretty good thus far in training camp. However, you want to get your main guy in there, and I think it's incredibly important to do that sooner rather than later. And that's all I really have to say about the CD deal. Kyle brings up a point. Don't pay a QB 20 million more than Mahomes that has a playoff record of 2-5. Kyle, I see what you're saying. However, look at every quarterback not named Mahomes and Burrow and check out their playoff records, and you will see that the large majority of them have been paid regardless of what their playoff record has been. And yes, that is an indictment on Dak Prescott. 2-5 is not impressive. It needs to be better. I'm not, defending him on that record. However, you do have to understand what the going rate for a quarterback is. And are you willing, as the Joneses, as a fan of the Cowboys even, are you willing to go back to possibly having a quarterback? Because the likelihood of you actually getting a quarterback from the draft that is better than Dak Prescott is unlikely. I think Dak is a top 5 quarterback, truthfully. So to just let that walk is just crazy to me. My guy Stephen Mack says, EJ, what up? It's fair market value, and I completely agree. Um, let's jump back in here to some of the more of the highlight plays of I don't really want volume. Hopefully, you guys aren't hearing that. But this is Demar Von Overshown. You can see the speed is completely there. That probably would have been a tackle for loss in a real game. I mean, explodes right out of there. Gets downhill quickly on. It looks like Zeke Elliott. Yeah, I think that this is a positive sign for Demar Von Overshown, and truthfully, I'm excited for that young man, especially in Zimmer's defense. I think that we're going to see a lot more blitzing from these linebackers in general. I didn't. Let's check out this one. Well, yeah, it's going to glitch on me, isn't it? Let's skip that one. This is the Tyler Guyton. Yep. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Tyler Guyton here. He's your left tackle, number 60 right here. This is your other rookie, Marshawn Kneeland, going up against him. And I'm going to tell you, man, these two guys, your first 2 picks, have been rather impressive today and stringing together some pretty good practices. I think that obviously out of any of the rookies thus far, Tyler Guyton has actually been the best, which is surprising to me. I kind of had Guyton as the most raw out of the exciting picks that we had, all the way down to probably the Kalen Carson range for me. And it's incredibly surprising and a I'm at a loss of words for how good he has actually been. Um, it's one of those things. You've got to bring it back to Duke Manyweather with O line masterminds, and you have to also. Um, my computer's completely glitching out here. Hopefully, I'm still alive. Um, and I lost my train of thought. And the work that he has put in himself with just going in there. He has. I think I can't remember who asked him the question. Um, but either way, he said that he has worked every single day since being drafted with Duke, and it shows. His hand tech is much better. He doesn't get over his skis. He doesn't get stood up as much. The athleticism was his biggest positive out of the draft. You can see that whenever he gets beat initially on the play, he can get back in there on plays. I think that he has been. Um, he's been really, really good. Now, obviously, there's some people jumping to conclusions, crowning him as the next Tyron Smith, yada yada yada. However, I really, really do think that we got a good player here and somebody that wants to work. Yeah, I'll talk about Trey Lance a little bit later in the show. Trey Lance has been very mediocre to bad in the training camp thus far. Just missing wide receivers and fumbling snaps, and it hasn't been good. But we'll get there. Currently talking about Tyler Guyton. Let's see if my Twitter will allow me to go back and check out some more of these plays by Guyton and not complete. So here we go. Looks like Ferguson in there coming in. Yeah, I mean, when he doesn't win a rep, he at least has the athleticism to get back and push the pass rusher wide. This is against Micah Parsons right here, and I don't know if you can see my cursor, but he's a little bit slow off of the snap compared to Micah, and obviously Micah is a strange animal when it comes to that stuff. He's just incredibly fast off the snap, but you can see he's calm. He's not too worried about getting beat inside, and he trusts his ability to get out there and push Michael wide. I think that's a really really good thing for Guyton as far as having the confidence in himself going up against one of the best pass rushers in the league in Micah. Um, while we're here, we might as well just read this from Tyler Smith on Tyler Guyton. He said, been truly impressed. It's not very often that you find a human being who measures how he does 6'7", 330, and has light feet and can just move and just bully dudes. When he really becomes confident and gets the playbook down and does all that stuff, the sky is truly the limit for him and his development. Confident guy. He knows his tools that he has. He knows how rare they are. It's just a matter of time before he solidifies things and he's playing at a truly elite level. And I echo that sentiment. I think that you can see how confident and calm he is now. And whenever I was watching him at Oklahoma and TCU to that respect as well, he was not always confident in what was happening around him. He would get laser focused on his assignment and then miss on stunts. He took bad angles on blocks. It was a completely raw player to me. Other than the athletic traits, that was what you're betting on. Now his hands seem so much better. He has a nice bend in his knees. He doesn't get too high, doesn't let his pad level expose him to specific moves from the edges. I think it's telling that he has really put in a lot of work with Duke. Continuing to go down here a little bit. That was that play I just showed. That's a Mazy Smith one, Turpin, Micah versus Guyton here. We'll watch this one. Turn this off. So once again, Tyler Guyton right here, number 60 against Micah Parsons. And boom. That's just very good technique right there. And you'll see he's even pointing out stuff, communicating with his offensive line. Gets out with a nice kick step. You can see he doesn't expose his hands too quickly. That's definitely one thing that he did in the past a little bit. And he was even improving on this stuff a little bit during Senior Bowl practices, which is um, a, a good thing that we've seen him even take that bit of coaching and implement it into his game. Let's go over here and check out some comments. Sorry. Um, Guyton is going to be great. He has the dancing feet. Absolutely, absolutely. My guy Ruben, what's up? EJ, my bad on being late. Yeah, guys, if you guys are late into the chat, I had kind of a little PSA at the beginning. I have been dealing with some health stuff. I'm not expecting anybody's sympathy or whatnot. But if I'm slurring my words, it's because of this issue I'm having with my tongue. Um, I've done a bunch of blood tests and everything came back good. Don't really know what's up. If it's a side effect from COVID or some other viral infection, who knows? But yeah, my tongue feels very weird even while I'm talking right now. So heads up on that. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. Um, and we'll get back into this. Keep on going down. Here we go. This one, I believe, was one of the ones I was most impressed with. Yeah, exactly. You see, Micah gets into. I wish I had a better way of playing this. You can see quick off the snap this time, gets wide on the kick step, boom, keeps on following it, trusting it, boom. And you can see right here, he doesn't engage his hands too quickly, gets it on Micah's pads. Now, Micah has a lot of power and he has a lot of momentum going out there, but then you can see Guyton shifts all of his momentum back and pushes Micah wide, allowing Dak to step up in the pocket. That's exactly what you want from a left tackle. And his ability to consistently do that against Micah Parsons is impressive for such a young guy and such a guy that was really had a lot of flaws early on whenever I was watching. See another one. This one, sloppy technique, you can obviously see. Let me run it back. Um, you can see Guyton's a little bit uncoordinated with his hands and getting Micah. You can see that hand on the back coming down and kind of holding Micah down there low and pushing. But he does another nice job of just getting all of his momentum around Micah and pushing him wide again. Obviously, probably a little bit of a hold. I would call that a losing rep. However, positive, continuing to build that momentum and confidence in your game and your technique is huge for tackles. Let's go down to round 2 of this same matchup. And this one, he just stonewalls Micah. That's just exactly what you want to see here. Gets up, flashes his hands. Now, I will say, right, well, let me run it back all the way. You'll see he kind of dips his hands back. I don't necessarily like that. I would just rather you just go up strong from your initial your set, you kick step, keep your hands high and boom, push it out. Um, that allows your chest to be a little bit open and makes you susceptible to some moves. But overall, Stonewall's Micah has really good feet on that rep as well. And then let's go to the first one. Let me see. Round 2. Okay, maybe I didn't get that one. That's okay. Um, okay. Well, anyways, let me go back over here. And Vince, what's up? What's up? Hopefully you guys aren't getting the volume. It keeps on blasting me every time I try to play one of those videos. I believe I muted this on this side, so that'll be good. But yeah, Tyler Guyton, seriously impressed with where he has come from being drafted and what I was watching on film at Oklahoma to what he has done now, working in the offseason with Duke Manyweather and the guys at O-Line Masterminds. Truly one of those things that make you so much more excited for the season because it's one of those things. Okay, good thing. It's one of those things that you worry about going from Tyron Smith to a rookie and a raw rookie at that. So he's shown serious improvements thus far. Let's not crown him as, a gold jacket guy or an all pro. Let's let him get on the field. Let's let him, get his battles in with Myles Garrett and whoever else he's going to face during this season. But truly positive from Tyler Guyton right now, which brings me to the next guy I want to talk about. A lot of people claimed, and myself included, I was fully on this train that Cooper Beebe would come in and instantly get that center job away from Brock Hoffman. I'm going to bring up one of the videos I was able to find today in regards to Cooper Beebe, which is this one. And you can see right initially he snaps the ball and it's at the quarterback, well, quotes, his feet right here. He has to bend all the way down, get it off of his shoelaces, and then if it'll play. He does do a nice job on that rep against, number 96, I think is that number. Um, I'm not sure who that is off the top of my head, but, regardless, does a nice job of, blocking him, but it's pretty evident that he has struggled with the snapping process. Um, I think that he's been on record as telling people, "Yeah, I'm practicing snapping with anybody that will let me." Um, and, I think it's more of those, who is the coach? Mike Solari, the O-line coach. I think it's more of he needs to get better with the snapping than anything. I don't think it's the blocking worries. I don't think it's a toughness or a strength worry from him, an anchor worry. It's really that snapping and understanding how to call the blocking assignments at the line. And that's a learning curve. And I think that's evident for him. He's played left tackle, he's played right tackle, he's played guard. I don't think he's ever played center. So, and in fact, he was recruited as a defensive tackle going into college. So one of those things he's going to have to get better at. But man, I'm excited for him. Even if he is never your center for the Cowboys, I think that he's your heir apparent to Zach Martin, and that's something to be excited for as well. So wanted to touch on Cooper Beebe a little bit. Let's jump over here and talk about Mazy, which a lot of people have said some good things about today. I have seen some good and bad from Mazy. Um, this rep, obviously, it's against an All-Pro in Tyler Smith, and yeah, he gets stonewalled. Just it's not great. However, I will say, off the snap is much better for Mazy right here than it has in past. So that's a positive for Mazy right there. I want to go down to another clip specifically. Um, yes, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this one against, I think that's Bass, TJ Bass. Mazy gets a lot of push. You can see he's driving his legs. He has a good pad level right there, and he's really pushing that, collapsing that pocket in on the quarterback. That's a winning rep right there. That's what you want to see from Mazy Smith. Now, that's against TJ Bass. Is TJ Bass a starting guard? Some people might say, yeah, he could be in there. He could play some good ball, but he's not Zach Martin. He's not Tyler Smith. So you take it with a grain of salt. Of course, he was pretty good in the one-on-one drills like that. Today, as far as 11-on-11 goes, not as good. I think that Mazy really has to get into the film room and understand what he's doing technique wise. It's just not as good. He needs to really drive his legs on each and every single snap. He needs to use some pass rush moves when it's a pass rush down. Do not get hesitant and just automatically go into a bull rush. Show them that you have some counter moves like an Osa Odigizua and even to an extent like a Jonathan Hankins. He's shown that in the past that he has a couple different moves as well. So bringing up what my guy Ruben says, what would be your plan to fill the huge loss to Zem's defense by Sam Williams? Yes, I'm going to be talking about Sam Williams as well a little bit later on in the show. They're toying with Mazy. Mazy better be winning against Bass and Steels in these situations. Absolutely. Yeah, it's completely different when you're talking about going up against Bass or a guy that is a legitimate Pro Bowler. And I think that that's pretty evident during practices. Now, I will say Mazi has looked a lot better, and as far as like sideline, um, just just his confidence and the way that he's kind of holding himself, it looks a lot better. Um, he's messing around with teammates. He's playing around, shadow boxing, and that stuff is all positive as far as Mazy Smith, because it seemed like, according to Brian Broaddus, that he got depressed last year, really got into his kind of a shell, and was dealing with some things. So, and that could attribute to some of the weight loss as well last year. But I think that he's back to getting up to weight, and he looks stronger. He looks more confident. Obviously, you want to see him uh, keep those legs on the ground and drive and really get the push that you need, but also mix in some pass rush moves. Don't be afraid to um, line up on the inside shoulder of a guard instead of just straight up on their nose. And those are the things he's going to have to realize that he can tweak a little bit. He has that freedom in the on the defensive line to do, and it's not always about getting told by a coach exactly what to do. I think that's where he's lacking a little bit more. Sam Williams, we might as well jump into that right now. If you haven't heard, Sam Williams has torn his MCL and ACL. He's going to be gone for the remainder of the season. That's tough, not only for the Cowboys, but Sam Williams. He was expected to have a big year, probably being the backup to Micah Parsons, as he kind of fits that mold a little bit more as kind of a speed guy who can, get off the line a little bit quicker. Of course, the plan to replace Sam Williams is probably not yet in the building, I'd assume, but current guys in the building that you expect to get the large majority of what Sam Williams snaps would have been is probably Marshawn Kneeland, probably Junior Feihoku. One of those guys, I assume, which, Marshawn Kneeland has looked very good. I haven't really seen Feihoku. I haven't really even noticed Feihoku on the field. So if he's out there, he needs to do a little bit more. Excuse my voice. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Anyways, let's jump into. I thought that I had a play of. No, let me just go back up really quick. That's. Oh yes, I did want to talk about this a little bit. So one of the things they seem like they're more interested in doing is using Turpin as a running back and um, using Deuce Vaughn as a wide receiver, which is interesting. It allows the defense to have to attribute for these guys going in the backfield or coming out to the slot or so on and so forth. I think it's a nice little wrinkle to the game. How much they actually use it, we will see. But I personally like Turpin in the backfield, just that speed, and also allowing him to really read blocks behind the line, because that's going to help him in the new phase of kick returns that's coming to the league now with the new change from years past. So I actually really like that. Um, just seeing him get those reps and really trusting his vision a little bit more, because if I had a big critique about Devonta Turpin, it would be his vision. He hasn't been very good in the past with reading blocks in front of him. I guess I don't have that other video. That's all right. Read this comment. Good evening, my friend. How are you doing over in Texas? If you do live in Texas, I see you're a Cowboys fan. That's good. It seems like the owner of the 49ers is getting the head. That should not. They should not. Is getting the head. What do you mean by that? Sorry. Do you remember the last 2 years, or the last year, 2 years ago, they were saying the Cleveland Browns were going to go to the Super Bowl. They didn't. What happened? Yeah, I mean, the Browns have had a surplus of talent. They deal with a lot of injuries, though, and I think that the Browns they kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball a little bit because of the Deshaun Watson contract and really selling their entire future to go get that guy when, um, yeah, he hasn't worked out. So, not sure about the Browns. Another one that the Baltimore was going to go to the Super Bowl. They put the quarterback MVP before the playoffs 3 months ahead, and then they got knocked out. Yeah, I think that Baltimore is set up to be a really good playoff team. They rely on their defense. I think that they have good coaching. They have good draft personnel there. And I personally think that I didn't know I was watching you on X when did you do that? I'll answer that in just a second, Ruben. Yeah, the Ravens, they are a good drafting team. They're a good run organization. I think that Lamar Jackson is a little bit overrated, especially people want to talk about Dak's playoff success. Look at Lamar Jackson's playoff success. He has not been good. I think he has 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in the playoffs. He has not been good. Yet Dak Prescott gets the bulk of the hate. So it's one of those things, man. Playoff football is hard, and a lot of things come down to a specific moment in the game, and it's either on your side or it's not, and that's the difference for a lot of games. Um, check this one out. You're bragging about so much that the Chiefs are going to three-peat. I don't know. I don't think so. It's going to be another team surprising them. Oh, that sounds. Okay. Rick, I appreciate your comments. These are so left field talking about other teams. But yeah, I hope that the Kansas City Chiefs do not three-peat. I do not want that to be a dynasty, even though I like some of their players there. I hope that the Cowboys play sabotage to that plan, or another team kind of comes out and surprises some teams. I think that the Texans would be a very interesting team to get to a Super Bowl. That'd be a fun run for them. There's a couple other young teams that I'm liking. I think the Packers are in a good spot with where they're at. But overall, I'm really just a Cowboys fan. I'm hoping the Cowboys get there. Ruben, I've been streaming on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I've been streaming on there for a long while, actually. So, and I don't know if you can set notifications on Twitter or not. But if you can set it, and you'll get a notification as well whenever I go live on there. But I always go live on Twitter and YouTube at the same time, so it doesn't really matter. The only thing that I prefer about YouTube is the fact that anybody can comment on my video live, whereas only people that have Twitter Blue can comment on the Twitter side. So anyways, let's jump into these talks of Trey Lance, and let me pull myself back up on the big screen. Let me get back a little bit. So Trey Lance has been very mediocre, and that's probably the nicest way I can put it. Thus far in training camp, missing not wide open receivers, but wide open for the NFL. Missing receivers, fumbling snaps, not looking confident in where he can place balls, relying on checkdowns a little bit too much. Just has not, like, people want to talk about Trey Lance beating out Dak Prescott. He hasn't even beat out Cooper Rush, in my opinion, yet. And that's telling, especially being in this offense about the same amount of time as Cooper Rush. People forget this offense, excuse me, this offense is different from when Cooper Rush was in Kellen Moore's office. This is a different offense under Mike McCarthy. So Trey Lance was acquired, week 8, something like that, maybe even earlier. He's realistically been in this offense just about as long as Cooper Rush, and he's not anywhere near as in control at the line of scrimmage as it seems Cooper Rush is, and his ball placement looks just bad. Just being frank, it's not good right now. Now, I will say Trey Lance has the ability to be a dual threat quarterback, and that's one thing that I think that will help him a lot in preseason games is just that ability to roll out of a broken play, or if he doesn't trust his arm as much, get out and make something happen outside of the pocket. That is so useful for a young guy, and it allows him to kind of get some swagger under them during a game and then trust what they're seeing a little bit more because it syncs everybody in that second level up a little bit more because they have to attribute for the quarterback and the possibility of them, rolling out and running. So I think that's a notch above Cooper Rush as far as Trey Lance goes. However, it's not looking good training camp wise for Trey Lance. I think that people that wanted to be on the Trey Lance train and they wanted him to beat out Dak Prescott, it's not looking good right now. I'll just say that. Um, and then, I mean, I don't know if I should mention this or not, but the training camp, as far as today looked, pretty empty in the stands. A lot of people seem to, I won't say boycotting outright, but a lot of people look angry at Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office and continuing to use this rhetoric of all in. It's beside me at this point with that terminology. I don't care what Jerry Jones has to say. Truthfully, I was minding my own business. I didn't even want to watch Jerry Jones, but then the comments came across about he has to pay 70% of the cap to 3 players. That's not even how this stuff works. You're just feeding the fan base lies. The APY, sure, the APY for a player is at a set amount, but one player can be making 15 million one year and then the next year they can be making 45 million depending upon how the contract is structured. So to just come out and lie to fans and be that disingenuous is it's beside me at this point. But I'll pull up Rick's comment right here. What I'm trying to say is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, seems like he's trying to get hit. I was listening to what he was saying. Every year he comes with that. That is a no-no. Yeah, um, I don't really even know what to say about Jerry Jones at this point. It's frustrating. I kind of mentioned earlier about the Dak comments and how Dak he said he's kind of fine with playing for another team if it comes to that point. He saw, players like Peyton Manning, players like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers now, all of those guys are on different teams or were on different teams before they retired. And I think that Dak has kind of matured to that point where he's understanding um, kind of growing up and realizing that the football aspect and the business aspect is one thing, but what he needs to do as a man to kind of have this transcendent legacy isn't tied to a specific team. It's tied to the work that he puts in. And if the front office isn't going to put that same amount of work into building a team around you, it kind of is demoralizing. And I think Dak has kind of realized that a little bit more. And I'm right there with him. Truthfully, I think that this rhetoric of the all in and what Jerry Jones was saying was um, it's kind of perpetuated this kind of despondency within the fan base, and I cannot blame anybody that is like that. So I think that Dak has every right to be honest and upfront with the fans about what's happening internally with the contract talks, and you know, I think that he deserves to be getting paid higher than Tua, higher than Jordan Love. In all fairness, let's bring up some of these comments right here. Yeah, I think us fans need to show Jerry that star in the Cowboys brand is only as valuable as we, the fans, let it be. Absolutely, Ruben, I completely agree. Really enjoying the content, bro. Got to go have dinner. I'll watch the replay. Hope you feel better. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning into the show, man. I really appreciate it. First time listener there. Quote was brutal by Dak. All the great QBs I have watched growing up played for other teams. Ouch, shots fired. Yeah, I think that it just comes back to how transparent Dak wants to be, and he at that moment, he realized, and he even said it, "I'm just gonna say it," and he kinda snickered a little bit. He said, "I'm gonna say it." And he went on with that exact quote that Ruben just brought up, and it's telling, it really is, and I don't know, man. I think that I've been on record to say that Jerry Jones has been incredibly obstinate and commensurate with this entire situation. I think that it needs to get resolved sooner rather than later. I would love to see Dak with a new contract by the end of the week. Would love to see CeeDee Lamb with a new contract by the end of the week. And I would love for him to double down and say, hey, we're going to make a concerted effort to get Micah Parsons done sooner rather than later. That's all I can ask for as a fan. And with that, guys, I have ran through pretty much the end of my topics. If you guys have a question, I will stick around for just a little moments more, and I'll answer any questions. Appreciate the support. Like I said, I don't really know what's happening with my health. I think I got 7 vials of blood drawn for different things that they tested, and all of it came back clean. I was high on some minor things the doctor didn't seem too concerned with, and it wouldn't explain what's happening. But that's kind of the reason for the inconsistencies as of my show recently. I like to go live every Tuesday night, but it just hasn't worked out with what's happening with me health wise. It's unfortunate, but I'm hoping to get better. And I booked my tickets for the I think it's week 3, it might be week 4. The Ravens at the Cowboys game. I'm going to be there. If you are, please do PM me on X or shoot me just a regular message, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And we'll have to meet up, have to get some pictures, and just chill, hang out. I'll probably be with the Cowboys Cave tailgate, which should be fun. Those guys are great over there. Had them on my show multiple times. They've had me on their show. It's all love with them. And yeah, Dilly says, yeah, feel better. Trying to. I I wanted to do this show just because it's one of those things that makes me happy, and I don't want to let this thing kind of rob me of my joy a little bit. So, um, yeah, that's going to be a sick game. It's going to be a good game for sure. I think that we're really going to test out our linebackers in that game. Just uh, obviously, Lamar Jackson's one of the most athletic quarterbacks and just outright players in the league. So, really test out the linebackers that game, and just hopefully, hopefully we can get to them a little bit, because it's going to get hard to score against such a good defense. Of course, they've lost some pieces, but man, it's gonna be fun. And yeah, Henry, he's gonna want to pound his flesh, his pound of flesh. Let's pound his flesh. That's yeah, cut that out of the show. Yeah, Derrick Henry as well. Adding him to a really up and coming offense that's starting to get the get back to actually being a little bit more air raid, but then you can mix in the RPO stuff now that Greg Roman is gone. Yeah, I think that the Ravens are coming back with a vengeance this season. I just hope that the Cowboys can continue their winning streak whenever I'm in the building. With that being said, though, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody. If you're on the YouTube side, please do leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube if you're not. Set the notification bell, and I'll catch you next week. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, I'll have another guest as well, and we can talk some more Cowboys football. Peace.